Hello, beautiful souls. I thought I'd do something a little different for a change and sit down and drop in and really give an update, have a conversation, one that isn't rushed into a minute of social media and one that isn't written in an email, and just really get connected with you all. And I feel like a really good place to start with this is giving you guys a little bit of a life update, especially for those who maybe we've been out of touch. Things change really fast. And that's something that I've been really recognizing over the last year is one month can look very different from the next, and especially on the path that I've been on. And so I want to share a little bit of it with you guys and just talk about it. So most of you guys know that I sold everything and I left the United States the end of January, pretty much just a little over a year ago. And my first stop was heading to Brazil to go and drink ayahuasca in the middle of the Amazon with the Yawanawa tribe. And this is my first time sitting with ayahuasca. And the journey up until that point, it had taken me about 8 years for it to finally happen. I had planned 2 other times doing an entire month-long diet and preparation beforehand, and they were both canceled last minute. The first was canceled the day of because they ended up overselling, having too many people, and there was also some other elements to it as well. But I was like, okay, it's not my time. And intuitively, I felt like the diet and just connecting with the essence of the medicine was what I needed at the time. Granted, that was like 9 years ago. And then a few years later, probably like 6 years ago, I was planning to come here, where I am now, to the Sacred Valley of Peru, to finally get to meet ayahuasca and do this work. And the day before my flight was supposed to leave was the day that the whole world got shut down because of, I'm sure you guys can remember what it is. I don't know what words are going to get triggered here. And so that got canceled. And I was like, okay, not the time again. And I waited. You know, I've worked with other plant medicines such as mushrooms and things like that pretty closely for about probably over 10 years at this point, maybe longer. And so there was other medicines and natural medicines that I had been connecting with and microdosing and really working on myself through energy work, developing my intuition, right? Supporting others through mediumship readings, intuitive guidance readings, Reiki, intuitive energy work, right? I've been doing all this work and really discovering a lot about myself, and it was finally time. It was finally time. I had been living in my van for a year, mostly in wilderness, alone. I had not been dating anyone. I'd spent most of my time alone. It had been like a year and a half, and I felt really clean with my energy just within myself to go do this work. So a year ago, I left the United States with a suitcase and a backpack, and I knew that it was going to change everything for me. And I'd been preparing for this type of nomadic life for like the last 5 years. I had been on and off nomadic, traveling with my van here and there. I'd been all over the place: Mexico, Guatemala, Idaho, California, Hawaii, and then all over, the US in my van. And I was finally ready to move on. And I knew that this was going to open up a lot for me. And I was ready for it. So the year ago today, I think, is actually the day that I left for the jungle. And while I was there, I sat with ayahuasca 3 times. And I also sat with kambo, which is a frog secretion medicine, 3 times. They say 3 times, 3 to 4 times within a moon cycle with kambo is like a total reset. And I'd actually been working with that medicine for probably 5 years, and it had changed so much for me. so much for me with my relationship with food, with mental clarity, with energy, with being able to make really good aligned decisions for myself, really clearing myself on like a physical level as well when it comes to like health. And that on top of 3 ayahuasca ceremonies was, I can't even describe it. Like, I can look at pictures of myself from before I went and even after. Oh, and especially now, and I'm just like, whoa. The level of things that changed in my life since then is the list is long. And I took a long time to integrate those 3 ceremonies. It was like 6 months, no other medicines, nothing. It was purely connecting with myself. And so much changed within that time. I lost a lot of weight. I physically look different. My style shifted. My relationships with people changed dramatically. The ones who were already in my life and the new people who came into my life. And one of the biggest things was reconnecting with music. A lot of you guys know that my dad passed away when I was 19 in really unfortunate circumstances of taking his own life. And, it heavily affected me for many years of my life. And he was like my biggest supporter when it comes to music. And so reconnecting to my voice and reconnecting to playing guitar was like, it felt like it was so out of reach. But if you know anything about the Yawanawa, and if you don't, I suggest you look them up. They're incredible, incredible people, really beautiful people, and they have really beautiful music. And their music is prayers. And it alivened something within me. After being in the jungle, I stayed in Rio for a month, maybe more than a month. And I was really wanting to reconnect with music at that point. I was feeling the call. And the place that I stayed was like this older Brazilian woman, super sweet. She's a musician. She had a keyboard, she had a guitar, she had a violin, and she pretty much was like, you can play any of these. And I was like, wow, what a gift of alignment that the first place I go has a guitar that I can use. And so I started playing the guitar again, and I kind of felt a little discouraged because I'd forgotten almost everything I knew. And I walked down the street one day and I saw a sign that said guitar lessons. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm just going to go see this. So I book a lesson, and they're like, by the way, the first one's free. And I was like, this is crazy. I get a free guitar lesson. I ended up only having that one lesson with them, which was totally fine. It's what was needed. And just continued to start to play around, right? To get used to what it feels like to sing again, to get used to what it feels like to play the guitar again. And it was a really slow journey, but that time of integration was very inward. I spent a lot of time at the beach. I made some really beautiful friends while I was there too. And eventually I felt the call to move on from Brazil and come to the Sacred Valley of Peru, where I had supposed to go in 2020 to drink medicine with ayahuasca, and it didn't work out. And I was like, okay, it's time to go now. And I didn't really know what was going to happen here. I really was just so open. When I left the States, the plan was to travel slow, 1 to 3 months in a place, really get the feel for it, and kind of keep moving because the world is so big. And, I'm fortunate enough that I've built a life that I can maintain my business and my clients anywhere. And that's something I've been doing now for about 6 years. And so I came here, I booked a month, wasn't really sure what was going to happen. Knew I would see Machu Picchu, and I knew that I would explore this beautiful sacred valley and these sacred mountains, but I didn't really know what was in store. And I didn't really look into it either. You might be like, Courtney, you're a psychic, like, why didn't you know? And I'm like, I don't actually try to predict every element of my life. I really don't. There are certain things I'll look into with intention, but a lot of the times I just live and I listen. And so I came here, and it was not what I expected. The community was so abundant, and music and expression. And I was about a month, the first month, I was pretty to myself. Really took it all in. My mom came to visit. We went to Machu Picchu for her birthday. She's always talked about Machu Picchu my entire life, and so it was really special to get to share that together. And then I started to branch out a little bit more, made some more friends, started going to song circles, started playing way more music, writing music, singing music, and meeting all of these amazing people. And even in that time, there's a lot of plant medicine here, a lot of work with ayahuasca, and a lot of work with the cactus medicine of Wachuma here in the Sacred Valley. And I did not touch any of it for quite some time. I was here for probably about 6 months before I sat with ayahuasca again. And since then, I've probably had about 10 ceremonies. I'd have to count. But in this year, I've gone very deep with the medicine of ayahuasca. And I've also connected a bit with cactus medicine of Wachuma, which comes from here, and peyote. And the journey continues to unfold, and the work is definitely not done. And my relationship with ayahuasca has continued to strengthen and build in a really, really beautiful way. It's transformed my life, and if you know me, you know that I'm no stranger to transformation. I have transformed many times, whether it's physically or emotionally or whatever. Like, there's been massive change in my life, and I have been the one sometimes to light the match and make the change and take the leap. I was a hairstylist in Los Angeles for 11 years, and I worked so hard for that life and that title. And one day I just knew it wasn't for me anymore, and I walked away from it completely. I sent my clients to people that I trusted, and I moved on to the next part of my journey. And I know there are a lot of people who are afraid to do these things, but they feel really called to make these massive changes. And I really feel like a part of my path is leading the way and holding that torch and letting you know, like, this is possible for you. You can change your life at any time. And if there's something that you know is meant for you, don't wait. You're never going to be ready. It's never going to align perfectly. There's always going to be risk, but there's always going to be reward. And so this change was a little different, like, I'm familiar with transformation, and I knew what I was going into with working with ayahuasca, with, setting sail and getting back into a nomadic life and leaving this trip open-ended. And within the first few months of being here, I just continued to stay. And then it became clear that this is a place that I wanted to stay for a while, maybe even a place to have a home base. And so I applied for my residency here and began that journey. And ended up meeting someone and falling in love. That's been going on for over 7 months now. And that journey has been a huge initiation. Huge. Relationships are such a mirror. You can do so much work on yourself alone, and then someone comes into your life and really shows you the parts of yourself that are still hidden or that are still triggered, or where you can still grow. And sometimes they can even show you the places that you've grown the most. And so this journey in this last year has opened up so much for me. And I'm also going to be honest, because I'm nothing if I'm not real, that it's also been really hard. Surfacing so many different things, integrating a lot of the work I've been doing, really looking at myself and my life and being honest about what needs to change. Honoring the stillness a lot of the time. There's many times when I just needed to be still. I didn't need to chase after anything or be busy. And I'm still very much on that path of listening and learning. And it's definitely not done. But I'm really excited for what's next. I know that I will travel again eventually. But this is a home base for now, and one that I'm really grateful for. These mountains are spirits. They all have a sacred name. They all have a sacred meaning. This land is very much alive and present, and the presence it holds for the inner work that we do on ourselves is incredible. Not to mention the people of this land, the people of Peru, the culture of these mountains. It's incredible, and it's really inspiring, and it's been a really big honor to get to witness and learn, and I'm still learning from the people, from the land. And so I'm really excited for the continuation of that. And I'm also really excited to be a bridge for those who feel called to come here to experience the medicine of ayahuasca, to experience the medicine of Wachuma, to experience the spirits of this land, the sacredness of it, and the culture, and the practices, and the beliefs. I'm going to share more as time unfolds, but do pay attention and stay tuned for some pretty exciting offers of just that. Being the bridge for you to come here and experience all of these life-changing things that I've had the honor of getting to experience. So that's been a little bit of the personal journey that's unfolded. And something else I want to touch on is just the incredible, incredible work of my students, of my mentorship clients that have been inside of Awaken and Align, and then continued their time in Awaken and Align, and now they're inside of the Healer's Pathway. We've been working together for over a year now, and there's a group of 3 that have gone all the way through. And there's another 3 that have joined in various other moments. And I want to celebrate them because it's been such an honor to hold the space of transformation, starting with intuitive development and really creating a solid foundation of spiritual practices and knowledge and trust within themselves, and then continuing to unfold into being of service, right? Inside of Awaken and Align, you get your Reiki Level 1 certification, which is really for you to learn how to connect with that energy and how to support yourself in your own healing. With the Healer's Pathway, we're going from level 1, Reiki, all the way to 2, to Reiki Master Teacher, and then I'm also teaching my own method of intuitive energy work and how I conduct my own unique sessions guided by intuition. And I'm really excited for what all of this is opening up, and for those who feel the call to be of service, because when I got attuned for Reiki, it was one attunement. They handed me a manual, they taught me the symbols, they did my attunement, and they were like, okay, bye. Within 2 hours, I got level 1 and level 2 in the same day. And that was it. I was attuned and I was done, and I felt like I had no idea what I was doing. And it took me years. It's been 10 years since my first attunement with Reiki, which is crazy to me to think about. But it took me years to feel confident in providing a service for other people, feel confident in drawing the symbols, saying the symbols, understanding what I'm even doing. And so this is what really inspired the Healer's Pathway. And we're doing 3 attunements per level. So you're really solidifying that connection. You're really building confidence with the connection. And I know as your teacher that I'm doing everything possible to really anchor that connection so that you can leave that feeling confident, feeling the connection, feeling grounded. And there's a few other unique additions, but you're supported through your entire 21-day self-practice for each level, which is something that I feel like really sets a difference between your relationship with this energy and the way that you feel confident in sharing it. Even if you're just practicing on yourself, that connection is there and it's solid. And anything that's needed to be worked through as far as building that trust and having questions, has happened within the container instead of years down the line on your own. And so I feel really just honored to get to work with people in such an intimate capacity, really transforming their lives and learning how to trust their intuition and learning how to work with energy work and be of service to others. And it's an honor to hold this space and to be able to provide something that I wish I had at that time in beginning my journey. And so it's been really cool to witness all of the change and transformation and evolution within my clients over this year too. I feel like we've all been on this like parallel path of shift and change and growth and really stepping into power. And it's been so beautiful, and I'm so grateful every day that I get to do this work. And that's just the stuff happening within my programs and my mentorship containers, not to mention like all of the transformative work happening within intuitive guidance readings and mediumship readings and one-on-one energy work sessions. Like, the changes that have happened have been so profound and such a blessing to witness. So I just wanted to come and share a little bit about life, where I'm at now, living in the Sacred Valley of Peru, continuing my own journey, which will never end. It will continue to unfold, but I'm pretty dedicated to sharing this journey with you and being open about what it all looks like. And I hope to inspire others to be brave and to step into the shift and to really honor all of the transformation that is meant for you in your life. There's an invitation here. If you feel called to reach out to me, discuss working together in any capacity, or maybe you just want to know what would be a good next step for you. I am offering free 15-minute consultation calls. So even if you don't know what you need and you feel like you need something, that is the space where we can connect and figure that out. Because I don't expect everyone to know. And if you do know, we can have a conversation about something specific as well. Obviously, it's not for a reading. It's for inquiring about different ways that we could work together, like what your next step could be and how to really support yourself in changing and transforming in your own life. But the invitation is there, and all you have to do is reach out to me on Instagram or email or whatever other path is available to set that up. And I'm going to be doing more of these, so stay tuned, stay connected, and please let me know how you liked this. I'd love to hear from you instead of just talking to myself in the camera. So with love and gratitude, as always, I'm sending you so much love and so much appreciation. So thank you for being in my circle. Thank you for being in my life. I'm also going to be launching a membership called the Inner Circle here soon, and you can reach out to me about that. It's going to be a really beautiful way of connecting and community and tons of information and a monthly community call to really build the connection that I think a lot of us are lacking. So sending so much love and gratitude and thanks to you all, and I will see you on the next one, probably here soon.